relationship with the Supreme Lord. So it's our constitution or our nature in relation with the Supreme. In this book it's on also, this is 29. Okay. Some it's 29, some it's 26. Please share if you can, if you need to, that is. I need some cartels, please. And if someone can play Sri Madanga. And someone, I don't think anyone here is be able to keep up with this on harmonium. It's not difficult to play, but it's difficult too if you don't know how. Om Timirandasya Janananda Shalakaya Chakshurun Nilitam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Shvayam Upakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Upam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savrutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyaevyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So if we take our clock time back to 1965, we're going back exactly 55 years in time. And a few of us may have memories of 55 years ago, maybe. You were a teenager, maybe 55 years ago, a teenager. Dhananjaya Prabhu, you remember 55 years ago or not?
Yeah.
Where were you then?
I was in east of France.
East? Belfort?
No, I was in close to Arcachon, close to the sea.
Oh, okay, so in France. And you were also in France then?
Yeah, I was in boarding school.
In very boring school. Boring school?
Yeah, boarding school.
Boring. In France, where?
Oh, north of Lyon.
North of Lyon. So mostly no one in the world knew what was happening in Boston on board a boat the boat was named Jaladuta. And that was the name of the boat which Srila Prabhupada had traveled from Calcutta. He left Calcutta on August the 13th. Friday of all days, August the 13th. And he arrived 5 weeks later on the 17th of September in Boston, America. The name of that boat, Jala means water and Duta means messenger. The boat was constructed actually of all places in Hamburg in Germany. Hamburg in Germany in 1959. I was looking at pictures of the launching of that boat this morning. There are pictures of it being launched in Hamburg Harbor with the owner of Skindia Steamship Company, or a representative of the company there, not the owner, the representative, at the launching ceremony. And that boat was the boat that Prabhupada sailed from across the ocean to the Western world. The messenger, Duta, of the water, Jala. So Prabhupada was indeed also Jaladuta. We have a devotee here named Jaladuta Das. He looks after the gardens and the cows and so on. And a very, very amazing name actually for the boat. So when Prabhupada arrived, which was yesterday, September the 17th itself, Prabhupada, some documentation was done as Prabhupada had arrived in America. Some visa document was arranged. Finalization of that, and some little tour around Boston, just around by the harbor. Prabhupada noted some things about America, even on his first few minutes in the country. And he had come with a mission. No one in the whole world knew, and practically didn't care either, that there is an old Indian man sitting in a cabin on board this not very big cargo ship in Boston Pier, Commonwealth Pier to be exact, sitting there alone, contemplating his mission. It would be hard for us to put us into that situation, even in our imagination, having not experienced it. But one could understand it would be quite a daunting, quite a challenging situation. Alone, no institution supporting him at all. He knew nobody in America. He had no ashram or support from India. He had no money practically. Actually, he had 40 rupees plus 20 US dollars, which the captain had given him for a set of Prabhupada Bhagavatam, first canto, 3 books. The captain bought those for $20. So Prabhupada had that as far as finance is concerned, and he had 199 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. Originally 200, now the captain has taken 1. And he is now in Boston on board the ship. And Prabhupada himself said, when he arrived, that he couldn't fathom, he wasn't expecting that the people of America would be able to take this process, that they would be able to adopt this way of life. When Prabhupada was in Mumbai, in those days, Bombay, when he was trying to arrange with the owner of this shipping company, named Samati Maharaji, Prabhupada was trying to arrange to go. She said, but Swamiji, they will not be able to follow any of your principles. They are all eating the meat. They are all drinking the liquor and smoking the cigarette and other things. And they're all very, very much attracted to sex life and gambling and so on. How will they... Swamiji, you stay here. You not go there. You not go there. They will not listen. You stay here. I will help you, she said, to print your books. Prabhupada said, no, 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 no. My mission is to preach in the West, in English. He convinced her eventually, but she was trying to convince him. He said, you are very old, Swamiji. You are 70 years old almost now. It is not good for you. You will not get anything to eat. Everyone there eat the meat. Sometimes Prabhupada, actually there was no problem on that regard. Sometimes it is a problem. Some countries in those days were hard to find non-vegetarian, hard to find vegetarian food, at least sufficient. America was okay. But Prabhupada insisted, and he came on the journey, suffering a few heart attacks even on the way, due to the pressure of the situation, the stormy seas, so many things. But he arrived, and on this day, on the 18th, he compiled in the morning, alone, handwritten, in his cabin, he wrote this Makine Bhagavat Dharma in Bengali, which he kept in his trunk. And then many years later, the devotees discovered this writing of Srila Prabhupada. And it became then a very significant document, because it is the first thing that Srila Prabhupada wrote in America, and it contains his, you could say, his mission statement of preaching in America. Generally, a mission statement will include details. It will include an agenda. It will include a time frame often. But Prabhupada's statements here are not based on that. Firstly, there is no real precedent to base it on. No one had come to America to preach Bhagavat Dharma before. Secondly, Srila Prabhupada didn't have like a external formula. Generally, when we endeavor or when we embark upon a particular project, we have some kind of agenda, some kind of external framework which we intend to introduce. Srila Prabhupada's framework was based on faith. Faith in the order of his spiritual master. If anything externally was there, it was simply his faith in the books of the Srimad Bhagavatam, particularly, and in the holy name of Krishna, which is also, neither of them are really external, they're both transcendental, but from the point of view of the world around him, they were his, you could say, his weapons to make his affront on materialism. But he was alone in a huge country with great wealth, relatively speaking. Even his English was not, you could say, the easiest to understand from an American point of view. A little easier for English people because the English had taught the Indian people English, so there was a little more connection. Very hard for people to even understand the accent, at least in the beginning. So we can partially imagine how it was. He's sitting in his room alone. No one in the world, other than the captain of the boat and those who were on the boat, knew he was there. Neither it meant very much to them either. For the rest of the world, whatever the news was, somebody was telling me yesterday that at that moment in Moscow, in fact, one of the, I think, father of one of the devotees in Russia was working with the KGB or something. And on that moment when Prabhupada arrived in America, there was red alert. They were on alert to press the buttons to shoot the bombs when Prabhupada arrived. I don't know if it was the Cuban affair, something was going on. But all external. Prabhupada has come with an internal message, the message of Bhagavat Dharma, our eternal business, eternal. As the whole world is absorbed in our temporary business of sense gratification, trying to enjoy what we can, Prabhupada is bringing a message which will open our hearts to our real nature and our real business and where real happiness lies. So we're going to go through this song today. I guess we can start by singing it. I haven't sung it for a while. Just trying to remember the tune now. Otherwise we'll go through the translation first. Boro. Okay. Try to listen carefully and try to repeat. Boro Krishna Koile. Krishna, start again. Boro Kripa Koile Krishna Adame Prati Boro Kripa Koile Krishna Adame Prati Kilagia Nileta Koro Ebekati Kilagia Nileta Koro Ebekati. If anyone needs a book, there's 2 more books here. Please take a book, otherwise you will not be able to follow. There's 2 more. Page 26 or 29, depending which book it is. One of them's already opened. Hache kichu Kajatava Eyanu Mane Achekichu Kajatava Eyanu Mane Nahe Keno Hani bene stane Nahe Keno Hani bene stane Rajastamo Gunera Sabhae Achan Rajastamo Gunera Sabhae Achan Vasudeva Kotaruchi Nahe se prasanna Vasudeva Kotaruchi Nahe se prasanna Tabe jari taba kripa Hoya hoy tuki Hoya hoy tuki Sakali Sambhavai Tumi Seko Tuki Sakali Sambhavai Tumi Seko Tuki Kibave bujale tara Puje se rasa Kibave bujale tara Puje se rasa Ita kripa koro prabhu kori nijabasho Ita kripa koro prabhu kori nijabasho Tomara ichaya sabha Hoy maya vasha Tomara ichaya sabha Hoy maya vasha Tomara ichaya nasha Mayara parasha Tomara ichaya nasha Maya para Taba ichai jadi Tadera uda Taba ichai jadi Tadera uda Bujibe Nishaya tabe kata setoma Bujibe nishaya tabe kata setoma Bhagavate kata se Tava avatar Bhagavate katase Tava avatar Kirahaya shune jari kane barbar Dhiraya shune jari katan Shrinvatam Sakatam Krishna. I'll sing 2 lines, I'll do 2 lines. Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Vidyantakstaya Bhadrani Vidunoti Saritsatam. Vidyantakstaya Bhadrani Vidunoti Saritsatam. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtki. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtki. Tadarajastamo Bhava Kamalo Bhadayastye. Tadarajastamo Bhava Kamalo Bhadayastye. Chetetar Anavidam Stitam Sattve Prasidati. Chetetar Anavidam Stitam Sattve Prasidati. Eyam Prasana Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha. Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Vidyate Vidaya Grantis Chidyante Sarvaka Samshaya. Shiyante Chashakarmani Drishte Vatmanishvare. Kriyante Kasani Drishte Vatmanishvare. Rajastamo te tabe pahibe nishtar. Rajastamo te tabe pahibe nishtar. Hidaya Abhadra Sabhutipe Taha. Hidaya Abhadra Sabhutipe Taha. Kikore puja bokata barase chahe. কি করে বুঝাবো কথা বরসে চাই কুরামে হীন কোনো শক্তি নাহি কুরামে হীন কোনো শক্তি নাহি অথচ এনেছো প্রভু কথা বলি পারে অথচ এনেছো প্রভু কথা বলি পারে ये তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এবারে ये তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু अखिल जगत गुरु बचन से अखिल जगत गुरु बचन से अलंकृता करिबा क्षमता তোমার अलंकृता करिबा क्षमता তোমার तब कृपा आले कथा सुर हवे तब कृपा आले कथा सुर हवे শুনিয়া সবার শোক দুঃখ কে ঘুচিবে দুঃখ হবে শোক দুঃখ কে ঘুচিবে হানি আছো যদি প্রভু हमारे ना चाहते हानि आशो जरि प्रभु हमारे ना चाहते ना चाहो प्रभु ना चाहो से माते ना चाहो प्रभु ना चाहो से माते Kashtera putali jata nachayo semate. Kashtera putali jata jata. Bhakti nai vedanai name kubdaro Bhakti nai vedanai name Bhakti Vedanta Namebe Satakoro Bhakti Vedanta Namebe Satakoro Bhakti Vedanta Namebe Satakoro Bhakti Vedanta Namebe Satakoro. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. My dear Lord Krishna. This is a translation of Srila Prabhupada's poem. My dear Lord Krishna, you were so kind upon this useless soul. But I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. We could also look at this poem of Srila Prabhupada as an internal mission statement for our movement and everything we do. The humility of Srila Prabhupada, his faith, his absolute dependence upon the order of his spiritual master, his feeling of practically helplessness in one sense. Feeling on his own he has no qualification whatsoever. He's not coming with a mood, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. Not at all. He's simply coming on the mercy of Krishna and his Guru Maharaj. That is his mission statement. This is the constitution of this movement. It is based on mercy and the qualities of humility and tolerance and respect. Prabhupada goes on. You have brought me here somehow or another. I do not know why. Now you can do whatever you like with me. A puppet, as later on Prabhupada says. This is a Vaishnava, instrument of the Lord's will, not our own, but Krishna's will. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why have you brought me to this terrible place? Krishna, Prabhupada said, you must have some business here, Krishna. I don't know. Why you have brought me to this terrible place? You must have some business. Krishna had great business to spread the holy name to every town and village of the world. This is Krishna's business. To deliver all the living entities who are in conditioned, materialistically conditioned states. Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion, absorbed in material life. They think themselves very happy, but they don't know anything else, relatively speaking. They think this is happy, sometimes not. But they think this is life, and we have to make the most of it. And therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it. And Prabhupada said, how they will understand this message? Because they're absorbed in materialism. When our hearts are absorbed in sense gratification, we cannot progress in spiritual lives. We cannot understand the message of Godhead. Even if we learn it, there's a difference between learning and understanding. That understanding is beyond their means. Only if you're merciful to them, Lord. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. It's a great miracle. Prabhupada said it was a miracle that people were changing, the hearts were changing in contact with devotional service. Devotee doesn't think, I'm doing it. No. Devotee sees themselves as an instrument of Krishna's mercy. That mercy comes through the pure devotee, and thus those who are fortunate to meet such a pure devotee are recipients of that mercy. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service, O Lord? I'm simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them of your message. Prayer. I wish that you may deliver them. I missed the verse. All living entities have come under the control of the illusory energy by your will. And therefore, if you like, by your will they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. No problem. All is by your will. If I am seemingly successful, that's also your will. I just submit myself to your will. You do as you like with me. But Krishna's desire, Prabhupada's desire is, please, my Lord, I appeal to you. Please deliver them. Please help them to understand this message of Bhagavatam. Only then will they be able to be delivered. So only then they will be able to understand your message if you give them your mercy. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation. And if a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, he'll be able to understand your message. And this is a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam now, as you can see. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Super Soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. At the time loving service is established in the heart, the modes of passion and ignorance and lust and desire disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes happy. Thus, established in the mode of goodness, the man rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord gains liberation from material association and comes to know scientifically of the personality of Godhead. Thus the knots of the heart and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. And then on with the translation of the poem. He will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore I am seeking your benediction, so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or another, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or a failure, as you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord. Make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. Means one who knows or understands the conclusion of the Vedas through devotion. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board the ship Jaladuta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, 18th of September, 1965. So I don't have time to comment anything on these verses because we are leaving in 10 minutes time for Harinam Sankirtan, and I don't know if anyone's coming with me today, maybe one or two. Nonetheless, we're going out. If anyone wishes to come, you'd have to come with us, but you'd have to be ready by 9:15 to drive out. We have 2 spaces in the car, I believe. Are you coming? Yeah. 1 space in the car. 1 more space if anyone wants to come to space out. And we'll try to go out every day on Harinam. Maybe not Sunday, of course, but every other day on Harinam during this period on the streets of local towns. Today I'm toying between, how do you pronounce it? Contra? Market day in Contra today. Never been there before on Sankirtan. So maybe Kant, it's not a very big town, but it's a nice little town. And either there or Romorantin, which is also market day. We have to leave early because the market's closed round about midday. And we have to get out there, otherwise there'll be nobody on the street. Just a few people in the restaurants, and that'll be it. Okay, and today Prabhupada also left New York. The boat left New York, left Boston rather, today, for New York. So on this day he wrote this poem, and then later in the day the boat left for the final leg to New York. And then Prabhupada disembarked in New York, that will be tomorrow, when he arrives in New York, in Brooklyn Pier in New York. And there he goes to the steamship company, the office of Scindia Steamship Company, to get his return ticket and do some documentation. And his books were all stored there also, his Bhagavatams stored there. And then he went to the Port Authority bus terminal to catch his overnight bus to Butler, Pennsylvania. So a lone ranger in America, huh? All alone, bringing the message of Godhead, Bhagavat Dharma, to the Western world. So we're all here now because Prabhupada set foot. And it's funny to note that when I was in Dublin, what time did 2001, the Twin Towers came down, remember? The Twin Towers, some of you may remember, some of you are very young. But in 2001, the Twin Towers came down in New York, and it's said that the planes came from Boston, and it was amazing. On the Vedic calendar, that's the Indian Vedic calendar, it was exactly the same day that Prabhupada arrived in New York, that the Twin Towers came down. 36 years to the day previously Prabhupada arrived, 36 years to the day, and he came from Boston to New York on that day. I don't know if there's any coincidence there, but the theory is that, of course, it was an affront on the Western exploitation, so to speak, and so on. And Prabhupada also came in a very different way, but for the purpose of, his Guru Maharaj said, tearing down the Western civilization, which doesn't mean a physical activity. It means changing the consciousness from sense gratification to spirituality. This is the real revolution. This is the real, let's say, business, the only valuable business in human society. So I have to finish there because I've got to get quickly ready to go on the effort to serve Prabhupada by studying the holy names and maybe just doing books. So if anyone wants to come and they're actually going to be ready, we'll give you 5 minutes leeway over 9:15, but we can't go much later than that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Makine Bhagavat Dharma ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki, World Holy Name Festival ki, Purushottam Mas ki jai.
His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Are you ready? Ready to go?